Hello everyone, and welcome back to Season 1 of my Let's Play series. You have joined Episode 3. Today we're going to pick up pretty close to where we left off. I'm going to go ahead and pull these seared bricks out of the furnaces that we smelted up last episode. It's going to give us quite a few seared bricks. Hopefully this will be enough for us to get started. One of the other things we're going to need just a little bit of sand. I see some right over there. Because we are going to need just a couple pieces of glass. In fact, I think we may only need one piece of glass, but I'm going to go ahead and grab a fair amount of sand because I am going to want some glass for some other reasons too. So part of the way I play is I do focus on what I'm doing. Right now I do know that I'm going to need a piece of glass, but one of the things I do is I pay attention to whether or not I may need some more of the same kind of stuff in the future. With glass, I just happen to know that I am in fact going to want some more glass a little bit later down the road, so I am going to smelt up more than the one piece that I believe that I need. And I just happen to see this beehive. My health is good, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of this beehive. It might sting a little bit, but I think we're all going to be happier in the long run. And there we go. Well, that one didn't hurt so bad at all, did it? Right. So, let's go ahead and throw in a little bit of sand. Take some of that back out of there. I will probably have to go and do some more tree chopping here in just a little bit. I am going to want just one piece of glass because we are going to need at least one piece of glass for one of the pieces of the smeltery. This is our smeltery controller. We will need one of those, but we also need a seared tank, which is made the exact same way that the smeltery controller is, only there is a piece of glass in the center. So now we will get our smeltery controller. One of the other things I'm going to want are some faucets. I tend to make these first now, mainly because I would make all of the other pieces of the smeltery that I would need only to discover that I have forgotten to make the faucets and I'm out of bricks now. So we're also going to need a couple of drains, which are made in this fashion. We're going to place some seared bricks on the outside on the left and outside on the right. I generally go with two. You can, if you are short on supplies, of course, start with just one. You can have more than two. I have used several variations in the past, but for starting off, I think that having two is plenty good enough. And that's basically going to hopefully end up being my floor, those 9 bricks there. I like to do the 3x3 smelteries. And I want to try to hang on to a couple of seared bricks, and I'll show you why we're going to do that here hopefully in just a little bit. I do believe, though, that this is going to be just enough to get a small smeltery started. We might have to come back and try to make a couple more bricks. But let's look around here and see if we can find a nice little spot. May end up having to clear a little bit of terrain out, and that's alright. In fact, I think that may be what I do. I haven't really done any land clearing. I tend to do this off camera, but we do need to get our smeltery going, so I'm going to clear just a little bit of this land out of our way, a little bit of this stuff. I'm thinking I'm probably going to put the smeltery right over here in this general area. So I don't want it to be too far away. And there's a lot of times where later I will actually incorporate the smeltery into one of my building designs. But however, starting off, I'm not going to do that. I generally tend to have my smelteries outside. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of clear back into this a little bit, because eventually I'm probably just going to clear this little plane out. But I think for the time being, it'll be good to do it like this. I'm going to clear that one more just by hand. And let's go ahead and make another shovel real quick, because I do believe making a shovel and then doing that will actually still be quicker than just removing 9 more pieces of dirt by hand. There we go, another stone shovel. You don't have to set them in the ground. I've noticed a lot of players don't. A good amount of players do, and I am one of those players. I like having it in the ground. I think it just works out better for me that way. And then we'll have to clear out kind of around here. I'm loving that we are getting all kinds of food. That is going to be nice. And then we are going to do something like this. Where do I want to put this? I want to put it where I'm going to have easy access to it, but I also kind of want it to look good. I think the way that I've got this set up right now, I'm not going to have much of a choice but to put that in the front. We will also need our smeltery controller, and now we can start doing our bricks around the outside. And I don't have a drain on here yet. I haven't decided exactly where I wanted to put it, but I did want to show you guys that if you have a valid structure for your smeltery, you will see these little particle effects, and you will see the smeltery, a little tiny bit of fire in that window there. If your smeltery is not a valid structure, the block will just look like this. Nothing will happen. There are some little tips and tricks for the smeltery. For instance, if you have liquids in here, like you got maybe some liquid iron or some liquid bronze, some kind of liquid metal material, if you break one of these bricks on the outside, the smeltery will retain those liquids. The smeltery controller is pretty smart, and it will remember what was in there. However, if you break the smeltery controller itself, you will lose all of that liquid data. So when you place that smeltery back down, anything that you had in there will be gone. That actually can have an advantage sometimes. Maybe you accidentally put something in there you didn't want. Now you're stuck with some kind of liquid you can't use, and it could be getting in your way. Go ahead and break the smeltery controller, and it will clear it right out of there. Now this little block is exactly why I was suggesting that we need that piece of glass, mainly because I'm actually going to be able to take this with me. That little tank, I don't think it was designed to be portable exactly, but it is a good little way to start off. So I usually take this with me on my first run, just because I'm probably only going to have one bucket. That's more than likely what is going to happen. And I may have derped up just a little bit, because I suddenly realized that I did not make any. Wow, I did not make a casting table or a casting basin, which is a little bit silly. Just a little bit. Fancy seared bricks. Wow. Okay. Well, that's all right. I've still got plenty of gravel. I probably burnt up all of my sand in the glass, so we'll go and get a little bit more. Go and get a little bit more sand here shortly. That's all right. But this will, what it will do is give me just a chance to show you what I meant by finding clay underground. because I was going to do a little bit of mining between episodes. In fact, I did come down here between the last episode and now, and I cleared out some of these resources. I went and pulled out a bunch of the copper that I saw. I'll come back and get this tin a little bit later. But really, I wanted to get my mine started, and look what I ran into. Some of this underground clay. I wanted you guys to see that, just so that you would know that it does in fact exist. You never know when you're going to run into it. I ran into it at Y level 11. However, you can run into it at any Y level. I've run into it at many different Y levels. I've run into it in the 20s, the 30s, and we have already discovered emeralds. So one of the things that I am going to want to do is really push this quest for iron. I'm definitely going to want some. Iron is usually the very first set of tools that can mine diamond level stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be some lava back here. So I just kind of want to dig back a little bit. Let me get my torches out. Another little pro tip here. One of the things I do to keep from getting lost, and it is really easy to get lost when you're down here mining, but trust me on that one, I have discovered this the hard way. Basically, if you place your torches consistently on one side, and I generally tend to go on the right side, it's a lot easier to figure out which way you came from, which way you're going. It can still get a little complicated. However, I believe that by placing them simply on one side, you're going to give yourself the best chance of being able to not get lost. And you can ask my kids about that sometime if you ever run into them. Because my kids, man, I tell you, they love to play Minecraft. But man, when they first started playing, it was extremely erratic. You know, they would just kind of put stuff wherever they felt like it, and you know, lo and behold, here comes Daddy having to rescue them now because they're lost and they don't know how to get back to where they were. And man, we're gonna have some gold down here. If we ever find any iron, we are going to be in a really good spot, I think. There's lots of this black quartz. And according to my mini-map, we should be running into a lava pool just about any time now. I got a feeling it might be on the other side of this here. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear that bubbling and churning. But there is some definite bubbling and churning going on. I'm wondering maybe if we're just a level too low. Man, there's a lot of good stuff down here. I think that's what's going on. I'm thinking maybe the lava's above us here. That is silly. Usually, maybe it's just over that way. Because this basalt tends to live right around. There it is. I knew there had to be some here somewhere. I could hear it. That's good. Glad to see that. And that looks like a decent amount of lava. This is probably going to sustain us in our smeltery for quite some time. It's not going to be a sufficient amount of lava to do any kind of power gen with. So anybody that's aware of, say, magmatic generators from extra utilities, this is not going to power a magmatic generator for any significant length of time. Basically, we'd end up having to make a trip to the nether for that. And generally what I do, since I do have other people that play with me and for my own safety, I tend to do things like this. That's going to prevent me from walking into this lava. And believe me, it does happen. When you're not paying attention, you get distracted, and I don't have my, I need to make another pick. That last extra step there, this is an example of why I may be borderline OCD. That last extra step there is going to drive me nuts. So that's going to be one of the things I fix. Again, I couldn't tell you why things are like that for me. They just are. But we got some clay now, which is good. We're just going to have to go after a little bit of sand, and then we should be able to get the rest of our smeltery done. Looks like it's nap time. And man, I really miss having an oak door. The spruce door, I like the way it looks. I do feel a little more secure. However, I do think I will end up replacing that with an oak door if I ever find any oak wood. Mainly because I like the little window. There's a little window. Hold on, Mr. Spider. The oak window has a door in it. The oak door has a window in it. I said I got a little backwards there. The oak door has a window in it that makes it a little easier to see outside. I think what I'm going to do here is... I have dirt on me? I do. I'm going to go ahead and block this back up. I don't really want my base to end up getting flooded. These are just some of the dangers. I've created a flood. But that's alright. We're going to block that up here really quick. And done. The rest of that water should just disappear. That's what happens when you don't have a source block. If there's no source block, all that liquid's just going to disappear. And that is true for just about any of the liquids that I have come into contact with. What have we got here? Shrubs. Man, there are a lot of beehives. I keep seeing these beehives almost everywhere I go. I did manage to knock out the two that were really close to my little starting hovel. Oh, look out, Mr. Creeper. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. I will show you guys here, when I get these sand, gravel, and clays mixed back into the grout here, I'm going to show you guys a couple of neat little tricks for those of you that are not playing with the cheats off. If you're playing with the cheats on, there's going to be a nice little command I can show you guys. What am I missing? Oh, okay. It wants me to actually turn the clay into brick form. And that's fine. I can do that. Actually, let's do it this way. I've never done it that way. Oh, wow. That's going to give me a lot. Okay. And that's only 16 grout, but I do believe that might actually end up being a little bit more than I need. So I'm going to space this out. And hopefully I'll be able, hopefully I've got enough of this stuff. Yeah. I think that's probably going to give us enough grout to finish up what we're doing. But let me go ahead and show you guys this little command that I know. Oh, I almost forgot something. So, game rule, mob griefing false, just the way that I've typed it, with that capital G in there. All the rest of the letters are lowercase. It won't work in my single player right now because I do not have cheats enabled, and it'll tell me I do not have permission to use this command. However, if you have cheats enabled, what it will do is turn off terrain damage. Basically, the explosions will be disabled. That means that things like creepers will not cause damage to any of the surrounding areas. They won't blow big giant holes in the ground. They won't blow big giant holes in your base. I found it to be a very useful command, especially on servers. You know, if you're the OP of a server, maybe you're just getting started, and you know you don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. That is an awesome command. Now, there is still a way to disable the commands. I have not started a team yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Normally, this isn't really something that I need to do. I am going to go ahead and create a team. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm going to go with blue. I've created my team. And this little claim chunks map is a very useful thing. Here I am, and it looks like I'm once again on the border of 2 chunks, which is fine. However, look at this. I've claimed these areas, and now my explosions are disabled around my base. So that is a very useful thing. And again, to get there, we're just going to, with my controls, the letter E gets into my inventory. And once you do that in this pack, you've got these lovely little settings up here. There's a trash can, which is extremely useful, especially when mining. Like, for instance, this sunflower. I'm probably never going to use a sunflower. There's plenty more around, so if I do end up needing one, we'll be just fine. So I'm going to throw those away. But be very careful when doing this, because just like some of the trash cans in the mods we have, once you put it in there, it's gone. I can take it back out right now, but once I close this window, those are gone. So anything you put in there, make sure that that is in fact what you wanted out. And again, I did derp up just a tiny bit, and I forgot to make a casting table and a casting basin, which really isn't that big of a deal. There's my basin, and if I'm right, I do. I've got 1 casting table, which that is phenomenal. And I've got 1 seared brick. And again, that seared brick is going to be invaluable later. And I can't wait to show you why. But I'm going to have to find some iron. I did find some gold, so I've got the gold that I need. Now, to get this started, I'm going to have to dig down just a little bit, because what I'm going to do is replace these. Did I break my pick again? I did. Wow. I forgot about that. I remember it breaking now. But man, all of these tool breakings do get a little tedious, and I think maybe those of you that have been watching have seen how many times I've broken my pick, and maybe you've also shared in my joy of pick breaking at inopportune times. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace this brick with a drain. Now, drains, you want to be sort of careful. I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody, but you want to be kind of careful. These drains have a large opening on one side. You want to make sure that this large opening here is inside, is facing the inside of the smeltery. You know, so that, and it does depend on which way you're facing. I'll see if I can demonstrate here. If I'm facing this way, when I place it, that larger end is not going to be the inside of the smeltery, and that's really not designed to pull stuff out of the smeltery. You know, so this drain here would not really be functional. So what I want to do is I actually want to be facing towards the smeltery and then place the block, and that should have, yes it did. So we're going to make a small hole over here, and you'll understand later why I'm kind of making an extra hole there. It'll be a little bit before we'll be able to take advantage of that extra one, but once we get a good amount of iron, a decent amount of iron, you guys will see why we're making that extra hole. And the fun part is we won't actually even be able to use that for just a little bit, but that's all right. Now, what we can do, I believe, did I put all my clay up, or did I turn it all into grout? I think I probably turned it all into grout. Let's see if we have any left. I may have put some up. Let's see. There's marble, and I do still have some clay. That's fantastic. Because, let me see, where did I put? I think I am going to make a bucket. You know, I think I actually am going to make a bucket out of the clay, if that is an option. I'm not actually sure that it is. I may need some bone meal. Clay bucket not an option in this pack. I may need some porcelain clay. I'm not sure if that is a thing in this. Let me take bone and see if I have one. I think I do. I seem to remember finding a chest with a hefty amount of bone in it. Let's see what happens. Well, so a clay bucket may not even actually be a thing in this. So I think I'm going to have to find some iron. I think that's going to have to happen. So, let's see, we are getting kind of close to the wrapping up point. We've got a little bit more time. So I think the smart thing to do is let's pick another pick real quick, and let's just see if we can't track down some iron real quick. Let's just see. And I'm going to do something I very rarely do. There's iron ore. And it says, according to the world gen data here, that there is a 81% chance at Y level 10 of finding iron. And you can find iron, just about anywhere. But if you look over on the right side in the parentheses, you will see a percentage. And right around 10 or 11. So I'm going to head back down to our area here, and I am going to try to force the issue with some iron. And you know what else? Before I get too far down, I'm also going to drag my smeltery tank down here with me. Am I? No. I keep getting ahead of myself. I can't do that. I don't have a bucket. I have no way to transport the lava. That's fantastic. That's why I'm on the hunt for the iron. And this kind of stuff happens to me all the time. I forget what I'm doing, and that's okay. It hopefully might give you a little entertainment. If you're sitting there yelling at me because I'm derping up, then my mission is complete. So hopefully we'll come across some iron here. And it looks like we ran back into our lava pool there. That's fine. Man, I'm just excited. I am really excited to find that stuff. Because that's good. So I'm not going to go that way. However, I may... Let's see what's over in this direction. Let's see. Later on, after we get to make some of our tinker tools, you guys will understand why I'm drilling this stuff out the way that I'm drilling it out. Because we're going to fix some of this stuff. I know what I want it to end up looking like. And I'm kind of planning ahead for that. As eventually what we're going to see are tunnels that are 3 wide instead of just this single. Mainly because that triples the amount of mining you can do at once. So one of our goals is going to be to make a hammer from Tinker's Construct, and the hammer destroys blocks in a 3x3 radius. Wow, there's a lot of gravel down here. I may end up doing a little caving too. I happen to know there's a couple of little caves around here. And where is all the iron hiding? I am not used to having to search for iron this long. It really kind of slaps you in the face a lot. And here's some coal, though. Definitely takes some coal. There might be some iron hiding back here with the coal. That does happen sometimes as well. Doesn't really look like it, though. I'm happy to see the coal, though. Coal is definitely something that I don't mind running into. A little bit of tin. And you know what's funny? I do have enough tin and bronze that I may actually skip making, or tin and copper, I'm sorry. I have enough tin and copper that I may actually end up skipping making the iron tools this time. I'm still going to need one more piece of iron, though. And man, I'm just not having any luck finding it. I'm going to get rid of this step before it drives me nuts. So let's head back up, and maybe I'll just kind of wander around and find a cave. See if we have a cave. I think that might get us to it quicker. And another thing that I'll probably end up doing is putting some stairs in here. I'll probably do that between episodes. Looks like it's nap time. May not rest now. There are monsters nearby. That's all right. I've been wanting to kind of cook up a couple pieces of cobblestone anyway. So let's make ourselves. How about that? We'll do 8 pieces of coal. That gives me 64. That's gonna let me do quarter stack in each one of these. Later on, I will show you guys how to automate these so that there are always bits of fuel in there. There's a couple ways to do that. But we can make sure that these furnaces always have fuel. Honestly, by the time we're able to do it, we don't really need to a lot of the time. I know that sounds silly. But I like to have stuff functional. I know a lot of players tend to build down their stuff or tear down their stuff once they build something better. I kind of like to, keep my builds. I might redesign them a little bit like I did by placing these directly into the wall. But you will discover that, your beginning travel hut, you're going to do a lot of that. You're going to put something down, and you're going to want another piece of something. You're going to want another item that does something, and that's what you're going to end up with in your little beginning survival hut. Let's see if that cooked up yet. I think I actually need one more piece of stone. Cook that up. Oh no, I get again getting ahead of myself. That's all right. I just wanted to real quick make a pressure plate because I am kind of a lazy player. I'm really surprised I didn't do that before, but now this door is gonna open up for me. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Sneak in a nap. And we are over just a little bit on time. That's all right. I just kind of wanted to. Oh, man. I don't know. Oh, man, this is scary. What are all these guys doing? Wow. There we go. Killed him. Is that Enderman still floating around? I can hear him, but I don't really want to mess with him. Yeah, I don't have any kind of armor. I don't really know that I would survive. Man. Here's some bread. Let me eat a little bit of that. I think for safety purposes, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the wrapping up point for this episode. We will come back next time and try to hunt down a little more iron so we can get our smeltery really up and running. And there's some other, a couple other tweaks that we're going to do. We're going to use some of that redstone that we have found once we're able to mine it. And we're going to use some of that redstone to improve our smeltery. But we're going to kind of keep that as a little bit of a surprise as to how we're going to go about doing that. In the meantime, I'm going to continue hunting for iron. I don't think that it's really something you guys need me to show you how to do. I'm pretty sure that you guys know how to, go mining at this point and go caving. And, just kind of look for an opening in the world somewhere. So this is Darth Scooter signing off. As always, thanks for stopping by and take care.